With your student heading to college soon, one of the most important steps, no matter your family situation, is filling out FAFSA. As a parent, you will have a key role when it comes to your student as long as they're considered dependent, which most are, but especially when it comes to filling in the parent section and the financial inputs. Filling out this form is not optional for most of you, for 99.9% of you. So in today's video, I want to walk you through the parent section of FAFSA and try to make your lives easier, explain how financial information is used, and how the student aid index is calculated for the upcoming award year so that you can understand what it means for your family. Make sure you hit subscribe because every week we have a new video to help your family work towards a debt-free degree. Hey there, my name is Jocelyn Pearson, founder of the Scholarship System, where we help families overwhelmed by the cost of college secure scholarships so that they can help their student avoid student loans. Now, scholarships are our bread and butter. We've helped families secure over $16.5 million. And so if you're not doing those, but yet you're doing FAFSA, you're missing the boat. You need to check those out. I'll explain more later. But that said, beyond scholarships, we want to make sure we are tapping into every possible penny of debt-free money that our student doesn't have to pay back, or that you, if you're a cosigner, that you don't have to pay back. And so FAFSA is the first and surest way to potentially tap into lots of money. And I will say this is not just about free money for low-income families. This is also about tapping into money through the school. Now, just a quick note, this information is meant for U.S. citizens and permanent residents. We're not familiar with the process for international families. So let's go ahead and dive in to help you walk through the parent section of FAFSA. So let's start off with talking about the parent section and who reports it and what does it require. So when a student files FAFSA and they are considered a dependent student, one or both parents will provide financial information. This kind of financial information will include things like adjusted gross income, or AGI, and other tax-related figures from prior tax years. So for this 2026-2027 school year, that means 2024 income, so prior year. Another data point they will ask for is parent assets. So checking, savings, investments, business, farm net worth, with some exclusions. But this, we do not include retirement accounts, but anything outside of that. They'll ask household size and number in college. So though the family size remains, but the number in college, this is no longer factored into SAI like it used to be. It is a factor, but it's not like it's a cut and dry divided by how many people are in college. You will see questions like, did you file taxes in that year? What was your AGI? What are your total assets? And this just goes to show that we have to make sure that our data is accurate. That is critical. Now, if parents are separated or divorced, then there are rules about which parent reports, and it's worth reviewing those details before you begin. You don't want to waste your time submitting the wrong information. Now, I have an entire FAFSA playlist, so you can find the link to that in the description, or you can click this video here that will take you to another video on FAFSA. Now, income and assets breakdown, what's counted. Let's get into that. So for the income portion, FAFSA uses, again, prior income. So for 2026, 27, they're looking at 2024, and that's for they will attend school in 26 to 27. They will also look at non-taxable income, IRA, pension distributions, foreign income exclusion. So many of these things will factor in, but again, remember, retirement funds are not. So that leads me into assets, savings, checking, investment values outside of retirement accounts, business and farm net worth, some exclusions for the 26-27 year though. But the key thing is the FAFSA instructions will now allow exclusions for the net worth of a family farm or business with 100 or fewer full-time employees for 2026-2027. So as a parent, you will want to gather tax returns, investment statements, savings account balances, and if that you have a business or a farm, then data about that before you even begin submitting this form. Now, all of this information is used to go into calculating the SAI, or Student Aid Index. So let's talk more about that. So what is SAI? So this is the number or the result that we get from submitting FAFSA. It used to be called the EFC, Expected Family Contribution, but this is the number that colleges will go by when deciding and awarding financial aid. Now, just because this number is the same to each college does not mean that your family will be offered the same award, so keep that in mind. But the formula for SAI calculates the total financial resources of parents or spouses in some cases, and deducts the minimum amount needed for your family's normal annual living expenses based on what they assume. So a lower SAI means greater eligibility for need-based aid. So a lower SAI means you can contribute less funds than others. Now, with the recent changes over the last few years, the SAI can actually go negative, which means very high need, although negative limits do apply. But the formula assesses what's available income minus any allowances and what assets, net worth above protections, and they apply assessment rates. So this is not just a very black and white thing, but overall, basically, the more assets you have that are not excluded, the more money you make, the higher the SAI. Now, what should parents do in order to prepare? First and foremost, I highly recommend starting early, collecting tax returns from 2024, asset statements, any kind of farm or business data if that applies to your family, double checking asset ownership, so which accounts are included, which accounts are excluded, for example, retirement accounts like I've mentioned. Another step could be minimizing assets in your student's name. So keeping money that can increase the SAI out of the student's name because it's calculated in at a higher percentage. This is actually, there's something called a grandparent 529 loophole where we actually have a 529 under the grandparent's name so that it's not even factored into our FAFSA calculation. And also, of course, if we can, minimizing what they have in their checking account. These are strategies that can be used to lower SAI. But again, we cover that a lot in our Debt-Free Degree Lab program. You can also use an SAI estimator. So tools like studentaid.gov, their website can help you estimate an SAI before submitting. This can be helpful for those of you that are trying to find the right financial fit school. So in the scholarship system, we talk about finding schools that have a good financial fit, not just personal fit, because that's the first step to getting that debt-free degree. And so looking at our SAI, that can help us figure out, do we have a chance of getting need-based aid from this school? The next thing I want to say is just complete the parent section carefully. Make sure to provide consent, make sure to provide accurate information because errors can cause delays. You might have to re-verify information and that'll just pause the whole process. Then once you submit FAFSA, you should receive a summary showing the SAI, and then you'll receive award letters from the colleges that were included. If we add colleges, we need to get our FAFSA sent to them. They need this information. But the other thing that we need to do as soon as we get that FAFSA submitted is apply for scholarships. No matter what, if we are doing FAFSA, that means we are in a year that we should be applying for scholarships. I do have a free webinar. It's just over an hour long. You can go to thescholarshipsystem.com/free webinar to sign up for that. But that'll show you where to find legitimate scholarships that have less competition and that are not FAFSA based necessarily. Now, comment below. Did you do FAFSA yet? Are you overwhelmed by it? What questions do you have? Feel free to comment below and maybe we'll record the next video answering one of your questions. So that said, parents, when you help your student complete FAFSA and when you have to do your parent section, your role is vital. The accuracy of that information, of that financial portion, and understanding how SAI works and what can impact what with your student aid that your student will receive, all of this is critical. So make sure that you're taking your time with it, you're paying attention, you're doing it accurately. Gather the documents ahead of time, review everything. The sooner you're prepared, the less stress you'll feel when you have to do this. All right, don't forget to hit subscribe. And again, I did mention that I have a whole FAFSA playlist, so you can check that out. We have all the links in the description below. I'll see you in the next video.